Bring in Malphine Fogel, who is Marc Fogel's mother. This, Malphine, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, it is.
Has got to be a pretty good day for your family.
It is absolutely a good day.
Wow. Malphine, thank you so much for joining us. Have you been able to connect with your son yet? Have you spoken with him?
He called me earlier today saying that he was in a Moscow airport and waiting to fly to Washington, D.C., and that was the last I heard.
So, Malphine, did you know Malphine, did you know that any of this was in the works?
Absolutely none. No, I did not know this. I just have had a better feeling the last couple days, and I don't know why. But anyway, it was a total surprise when he called, and he said he was in the Moscow airport. So that meant that he had taken him out of the prison to Moscow.
So tell us, when the phone rang and you picked it up and he said, "Hi, Mom, it's Marc. I'm in an airport and I'm coming home," and you didn't know anything about this, I mean, you must have about dropped the phone.
Well, I absolutely. Well, first of all, I couldn't hear too clearly, and he has the habit of always greeting me with the words "buongiorno," which means good day in Italian. And so I said, "Who is this?" Because he never calls that early in the morning. And he said, "Well, who else calls you and says buongiorno?" So it was Marc, and he was waiting in the airport and just beside himself. And I just had no clue.
Malphine, none of us can even imagine what you must be feeling right now. I feel like I want to reach through the screen and give you a great big hug. It sounds like you had mother's intuition.
Well, you know what? As I say, for the last week or so, for some crazy reason, I had a bitter feeling about things, but I hadn't heard from him in a week, so I thought that was odd. And when he called this morning, it was just a total shock, first of all, because of the time he called and with the news. So it's just, an unbelievable situation right now. We're just waiting and waiting to get him into the U.S. I think the first thing he'll do was stoop down and kiss the ground.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
So what have the last 4 years, Malphine, been like for you? Not knowing what he's been going through, not being able to talk to him except occasionally, knowing that he was being sent to one of these infamous Russian penal colonies.
I never had the feeling that he was being mistreated, though. I would ask him what he had to eat and how he felt, and he never, ever, ever complained. Except when they put him in the hospital, he didn't like that because he didn't know what they were doing and he had no translator. But he has never really complained about anything except being there. As far as conditions, he never ever said anything about them. I have no idea whether they were good, bad, or otherwise.
Wow.
But he was just beside himself when he called, waiting in the Russian airport because they'd taken him out of the prison, so he knew something was going on.
Yeah.
And, it's just an incredible relief to know that he's on his way home. As I understand it, he was flying to Washington, D.C., and then from there, I think, to Pittsburgh, but I'm not certain of all the plans. But I think he's supposed to be in Washington, D.C. sometime tonight.
Yeah, reading directly from the White House statement, Malphine, it says, "By tonight, Marc Fogel will be on American soil and reunited with his family and loved ones." I can only imagine the urgency of all who are with him to make sure that he sees you soon, his mother.
Well, you know what? I want to see him as badly as I can possibly feel, but I want him to be with his family, his wife and his 2 boys. They're the ones that have suffered the most and have lived a terrible 3.5 years. So my wish is that they get together and have a really good reunion, and then I'll see him after that. But as long as I know he's on American soil, I'm happy.
I know, Malphine, that there was a lot of hope a few months ago, back in August, when Evan Gershkovich was released, that Mark might be coming home with him. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. It fell to this administration to get it done. And I know that you were there in Butler, Pennsylvania, on that fateful day.
I met President Trump, and he was just as cordial as he could be. And he told me 3 different times, if I get in, he said, I'll get him out. And I really think he's been instrumental. He and Rubio and I can't think of the other person's name that I wanted to say. But anyway, I really feel they were instrumental in getting this to happen.
I assume maybe you mean Steve Wickoff.
Thank them.
So he there's a chance he's watching or will see this. What would you like to say to President Trump?
I would like to thank him profusely. He promised me he would get him out, and he kept his promise. And I can't thank him enough, and Secretary Rubio also, and anybody else who's had a hand in this. I'm sure there were quite a few that got the ball rolling, but I particularly want to thank President Trump.
Malphine, if I could ask you one last question about in general, the situation over there, as Waltz, in his statement from the White House announcing your son's return, said this is a development, a sign we're moving in the right direction to end the brutal and terrible war in Ukraine.
You faded out on me. I didn't hear the question.
In this statement, Malphine, in this statement from the White House, it was described as a development, your son's release, as a sign we're moving in the right direction to end the brutal and terrible war in Ukraine. I wonder, with all the time you've had to think about this, if you'd like to leave us off with a thought on that.
Well, nobody wants to see the war go on. I just hope that there's enough expertise and enough feeling in the political arena that they can get something done. I think it's first and foremost what we should be thinking about.
Well, Malphine, we know that this is a very good day for your family. We wish you well, and we would love to be there when Mark comes home. I'm sure you're going to give him a big hug, cook him his favorite meal. And, I don't know. It's going to be quite a night.
Yeah. He's going to be sore, I think, from all the hugs. But anyway, thank you for telling his story, and hopefully he'll get home in a few hours. Probably not till tomorrow.
God bless you.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.